Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, I wanted to share some good news about my Code de la Route. I'm glad to announce that I passed the almighty Code de la Route exam. It was my first time of trying. I had made up my mind and told everyone around me that I would want to try it once, and that I know that I would pass it the first time. Not that I know, but I was going to try really hard to pass it that first time because I didn't want to do it over and over and over again. So I worked hard for it, but it's been a long time coming because I've lived in France for 5 years, and in those years I had the urge to get my license because I was driving previously in Nigeria, and when I got here, I went over to the to OFI and asked if I could switch my license, and they said, "Oh, unfortunately, we have no license with Nigeria, so you cannot switch your license." So it was a huge problem for me, and it's more difficult when you don't understand the language, or you can't speak the language. And I had some people telling me, you don't need to just really know everything. Just get the answers. Keep doing the test and get the answers correctly. And for me, I didn't think that would work for me because I felt that I needed to understand exactly what I'm studying. I just to avoid mistakes, and I just could not comprehend how I would pass an exam by knowing the answers and not understanding the question. If you get what I mean. So it took me a long time to get ready for this mentally, emotionally, physically, and when you're not ready for something, you're not just ready for it. At some point I downloaded some apps. I think codedelaroute app. I tried to use that app a few times to study. I just could not concentrate. I just was not getting it. So I would also talk about the apps that I used. So I think since 2022, after I had my baby, I think I just started. Someone introduced me to an app called Onika, and then I said, it looked simple. I started, but at this point my French had improved. I could understand a lot of spoken French, and therefore when I read some of the questions I could comprehend a little. When I look back at the books that I was using when I was when I was like 1 year or 2 years in France, I used to try to translate break, ralenti, all of these words, to write them and translate them. It was difficult. So when I got this Onika app, I paid €5 for 1 year. What I loved about the app is that I was able to translate. So Onika allows you to copy the text, and then I take it to DeepL or Google Translate, whichever you use, and I translate it, understand it, and I go back and do the exercise. So I was using Onika I downloaded it, but I wasn't using it. I'll tell the truth. Sometimes I'll just use it and then I'll stop when you're discouraged, or when you have other problems, you just stop practicing. So I was like that for those 2 years, off and on. And then the second year that I was supposed to renew, I said, Ugochi, you're about to renew this thing again. You've not still passed this test. You don't even and at that point I think I was still getting 18 over 40. I was not just there. I was not ready. And then I think in March of 2024, this year, I really took it more seriously, and then I stopped again because I got sick and I couldn't continue, so I stopped. And then I think around July again, I took it up again, and I said, okay, this time I need to take it seriously. And I would go online and I'll follow some creators, especially on TikTok. I used to search initially earlier in the year. I wouldn't find any lessons or any live videos for French, for the French license. I would see Germany, I think I would see the UK. But now there are lots of them. When you come on TikTok Live, there's so many of them, many of people doing this now. But at that point, earlier this year, we didn't have a lot of them. So I would join sometimes and I wouldn't find, and I would just, so I kept doing the exercises. But I think I took it very seriously around July. I took it very seriously. I started doing the exercise, and then I would go online and search. I watched videos, I saved videos, I watched a lot of videos, but nothing. When they say you're not prepared for it, you're not prepared for it. And so I started watching those videos. I saw a video that said one of the instructors, advised people to do it at night, the last thing you do at night, just before you go to bed. That you should do your exercises, revise those exercises. And so I'll take the text, and on my phone, 30 minutes, 45 minutes when the kids had slept, I'll just work on it, and then I'll sleep. And I realized I was getting about 34 at some point, 34, 35. I said, oh, but you know how it works, sometimes you get 35, sometimes you go back again to 28. Just, it depends. But I kept working hard at it. And one day, I won't forget the support rendered to us, many of us, by the Saint Louis Alsace. They actually had a free class for those who had just been in France for about less than 5 years, I think. A free code class to help us get our driver's license. So I went for this, and at that point, that was in 2021 or 2020. My French was also not good, so I would go to this class and I would just sit down because I didn't understand anything. And they would give us the papers to do the exercises and say, oh, go home and practice. I didn't understand anything. So, but I'm grateful for that. They gave us a book, the textbook, that also helped me when I was towards the end, before I passed the exam. And so I used that book. So I'm really grateful for that support that they offered. So at this point, around June, and then I had loads of friends who were very supportive. Oh my God, I can't mention all their names, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for pushing me. And then I think around around September. No, I told myself I would write this test before my 42nd birthday, because I said, you're going to be 42 very soon. You still don't have this. You can't even drive in France. And I'll talk about what it means to start all over in a new country, in different situations. But then I said, I told myself I have to pass this test in August. August came, I did not pass. I said, September. September, I said I was not ready. And then in September, I was just working, and then my Onika app turned green. And it said, ready, you're ready. I said, what? I'm ready for the exam. I was excited. I said, finally, I'm ready for this exam. But I told everybody, I'm ready for the exam, And then, but I was still worried. I said, what if, and then I'll go online and I'll see, on those live videos, they're showing things, questions that are totally different from what I've been practicing. I'm like, are you sure this is, good enough? I think you should go use the second app. And then the app that we got from the Mary, it had expired. It was just for 1 year, and it expired. I didn't use it. I had some friends who even allowed me to use their apps, and that time I was not really, ready for this. And then I had to say, what app do I download? I think I saw Simon on Virtue Simon, and then I saw Stitch. Virtue Simon, I think you must pay for everything, I believe. But Stitch, I said, Stitch, let me try Stitch. I downloaded Stitch. Stitch allowed me to answer questions, but I could not, and do some lessons, but I could not really. I think there's some areas that you can't access if you don't pay, and I didn't want to pay. So I said, okay, since I'm already green on Onika, I could just keep doing more on Stitch. You guess what? I got Stitch 1 week before I booked for an exam. I booked for an exam at Code and Go in Mulhouse. And then 1 week before, I said, are you sure? And then with children and everything, I was telling myself I had like 40 tests of 25 questions. 40 each. So imagine trying to do 40 in 1 week with kids doing this, all the wahala around. I could not do it. And then I got to that day, I got ready. I told my friends, I'm not sure I'm ready for this exam, but I'll try. So I got there, and then I sat down. I was early. I sat down for the exam. And when it was time to write the exam, I saw that people were calling and saying, can I move it? I said, hold on, are you sure I should not even move this thing? So I stood up and I went to her and I said, do you think I can move this exam for free? Because I don't want to pay another 30 euros. And she said, oh, sure, you can move it for free. I said, for free? Yeah. She said, okay, what day do you choose? So I chose one. I took an extra week. So it was the next Friday. I told her, okay, I'll come back on Friday to write the exam. And then I told myself, you better prepare for this exam right now and be sure. Because, I wanted to just do it once. So that week, I went back on Stitch and Onika. And at this point, I think I just focused on Stitch. I used to teach, I was doing these questions over and over and over and over and making errors. I didn't even sleep very well because I was doing this thing over and over and over, you know. And it might be easy for those who speak French, but for us who don't speak French, remember that I have to translate almost every word. So I this time around I went on my phone. I was on the phone and I was on my laptop. So I would I'll use the web translator, Google Web Translator, to translate it, and did all the work in English, and then I'll go back on my phone and do it all in French. The same set of questions. So it's say number 25, I'll do 25 40 questions, and I'll go on my phone and do it 25 40 questions in French and English. So I was alternating like that all the way. So that's what I'd advise you. If you don't speak, if your French is not good, so try to translate and understand. You have to just understand everything. And apart from just passing the exams, you just need to know this thing, because if you make a mistake, you're going to lose your license and you're going to start over. So I did that. I kept switching, translating, and then I also would munch questions that I didn't understand, and I'll ask friends. I'll say, oh, what's this? And when I'm in a car, I'll say, how do I know which one is priority advance, arrête, stop, c'est de la passage, all of that. I began to ask questions, and then it made a lot of sense to me. And so I didn't want to disappoint my kids, so I didn't tell them that I was going to write this exam, because I wanted to pass, and then I would ask, hey, I passed. So I went on this day. I felt confident, and well, you never know what question. Oh, there are some difficult areas that no matter what I did, I just could not get them. Anyone that had calculations, because I failed maths, I failed WAEC maths, I failed all of GC maths, fail. That is what I'm known for. So anything around calculate meters and oh my god, miles, I don't remember it. Distance the freinage, distance the arrête, I cannot calculate that. It doesn't work for me. So I said, oh my god, I prayed too. They say it's not prayer, you have to work. It's not Nigeria, you must work hard. So I prayed and said, I really hope that I get questions that I understand, that are very easy for me. I don't want anything around mathematics. I don't want to calculate anything, because I never get it right. So I went in, they told us, they introduced and made some introductions, and then said, okay, Ale, go, right. And yeah, so I continued, I did my work, and when I was like 28, I said, hey, if these same questions keep coming like this, I've passed though. I said, hey God, I want these same questions. When I was 35, I started smiling. I said, I've passed this exam. But I was shocked. But sometimes you know that you've done very well, but sometimes you still have doubts. I said, anyhow, maybe I'll at least fail maybe 2 or 3, or high, yes, I'll fail 5. I was sure that at least I'll get 35. But sometimes you have doubt and say, what if you now get 34 over 40? You failed it and you have to do it all over again. I said, anyway, I've done it, and I left. I said, when are we going to get the results? And they told us after 24 hours. It was the longest 24 hours of my life. Because I had to wait and wait and wait. I kept checking and checking. And then I went to the Code on Go website, and I saw examen passé. I sent to all my friends. I said, examen passé, I think I passed it, but I'm surprised there's no error. It's not possible that I didn't make any mistake. It's impossible, because I saw no error, 0. My Gloria would say 0, 0, 0, 0. So I said, it's not possible, at least 1 or 2. I would have made some mistake. And she said, no, they said you passed it. I told everybody, said, but all I can see, you passed this exam. I said, anyway, let's wait. But someone else said, I can't see any result here, so just waste 24 hours. The next morning, I called the Code on Go office, and they said, wait for 24 hours. What's wrong with my lights? All right. So the next day, I opened my account, and I saw it. Favorable. 38. I said, wow! 38! 38 over 40. Oh my God. I missed 2, only 2. Wow. I was excited. I said, wow. So I also really want to encourage people who are like me, 42 or over, 50, 60, even 30, 25, whatever age you are, just don't give up. there is a point in your life where you're just not ready for something, or you're going through some things, and at that point you're mentally not prepared for this. Don't rush it. Just take your time and say, you know, there's no hurry. I'm not in competition with anyone. I'll take my time. I'll recover. I'll do the things that I have to do, the most important ones. I need a license, but at that point I just could not. I didn't understand good French, so I was just stressing myself unnecessarily to get something that I knew that I just could not understand. But when I was ready for it, that's preparation. When you're ready for something, the universe, everything prepares everything for you at that moment, and it's that time for you to grab it. So I went in and I grabbed my 38, and yeah, so don't give up, keep working at it. Even if you have kids, you know, give it time, 30 minutes, 25 minutes, as much as you can. Do something around it. And then, you know, the next one is now for me to do my practical exam and test. I'm worried about that 20 hours because I already drive stick. I can drive the manual engine, and now I have to, they said minimum is 20 hours 52 euros, 48 euros. They're looking at almost 1,000 euros. Hey, you should just donate. Support my ambition. But anyway, I also joined there's a Facebook group for English speakers in France who are trying to get their license. I would post it so that you could also join if you're from a country that allows you to just switch over. You know, there are also some procedures. So if you join that group, you're going to get so much information. And even if you're not from that country, you can also learn a thing or two from that Facebook group. So I joined that group, and it really helped. So it's never too late. Ladies, guys, it's never too late. Go for it. Thank you very much for watching. And I forgot to mention something. A few days before the exam, or the night before the exam, Stitch sent me an email, and it was like, oh, things have changed, and this is, you know, it was like a summary of everything that you'd find in that Codedelaroute book. It was like a summary, and it had like you could read all of them in 20 minutes. And I was also able to translate it to English. So on Stitch app, you cannot translate to English. It's difficult. You cannot copy and paste, you know. But on their website, I could do that. And then the email they sent to me, their email list, their email, I was able to translate what they sent to me, and it was so helpful. Oh my God. It was like I read the code in 20 minutes. I read everything. I read it 3 times before. I got it like a few hours before the exam, but it was like they sent this thing. No, I want to talk about the universe, you know, working out everything for you. It was like they sent me this thing like a few hours before the exam. I said, oh my God, I kept reading it and reading it. On the train, as I was going to Mulhouse, I kept reading it, you know. And then when I got there, I stopped. I just stopped. Okay, at the train station when I was waiting, you know, I went earlier than usual. I sat down there and I went through it. I read that thing over and over. And I would say, if you want to pass the exam, you can just use only Onika. But if you really want to understand and comprehend the science, you understand, you know, what the questions, I think I would say Stitch. But it's better to use 2 apps. I would encourage you to use 2. Don't use 1, 3 if possible. You know, that's how I saw. Oh, Stitch, thank you very much. And there's a deal. If you want to use Stitch, use the link below, and we have some discount. See you next time. Bye.